Welcome to Miss Sarah's Math Corner. This is a fraction review with word problems. So we're going to talk about a word problem today using different fraction strategies. So let's jump right into it. So the little word problem we're going to start with is that there's a book collection, and the book collection has 42 books. This person has 42 books in their collection, and 4/7 of those books are picture books. 1/3 of those books are novels. The rest are comic books. How many comic books are there? Okay, so this type of question comes up a lot in Quebec exams all the time. It's one of those things that a skill that you need to know. Eventually, decimals will be added, percentages will be added to replace the fraction, but it's going to work the exact same way. Let's keep it really simple today and just work with fractions. So the best way to tackle this is to go type by type or fraction by fraction. So let's figure out how many actual picture books there are. So the information they gave us is that there are 4/7 of the books are picture books. I'm just going to put a little label for myself. Picture books, so I stay organized. So 4/7 of what? That is the question you have to ask yourself. So every single time you have a question like this, go back and check, well, what is the number that I'm dealing with? What is the number of the set, the whole thing? It's 42. And so when I look at it like this, I can better understand where the whole number is. So the whole set, and 4/7 of this whole set is going to be picture books. When I change the fraction in this case, and I'm going to find out how much actual books are represented here, the best strategy, now there's other ways, right? There's multiplication that we could use. I like using equivalent fractions because it's very clear. It's showing how many and how many are actually in the total here, depending on where you're putting your numbers, and it's very clear it's showing where the answer is too, right? So 42, now the question is, where does the 42 go? Numerator or denominator? 42, remember, is the whole collection in this case. So every time the word whole comes out, it of course is the denominator because denominator represents the whole of the set. So equivalent fractions are your best friend. They're always your best friend. So for more information, there's a lot of videos available out there for equivalent fractions if you need more specific information. Equivalent fractions. No information up here. That's what I need. It's going to tell me the number of picture books, but I can't figure that out yet. I need to do the bottom. So 7, do something to 7 to get 42. Now remember, for equivalent fractions, we can only multiply or divide. In this case, of course, I'm multiplying because the number is going to get bigger. So 7 times what is 42? 7 times 6. And remember, in order to keep equivalent fractions, equivalent meaning equal, I can't just go ahead and change this to whatever I want and say, I can multiply this by 4. Well, of course you can't. These are not the same numbers. It wouldn't be equal or equivalent if I decided to go wild and change all my numbers. Impossible. So those numbers are going to stay the same. So 7 times 6 is 42. 4 times 6 is 24. And there we go. I have 24 picture books. That's not the whole collection. There's only 24 of them. Okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing for novels. Novels, N for novels. 1/3, again, not what is left over here, 1/3 of the set, of the collection of 42, 1/3 of 42. And you don't have to write this necessarily. I like to write it just to show what I'm doing. Again, that 42 is going to go on the bottom here. It's the denominator that you're representing the whole collection with in this case. Now I'm going to do the same thing. 3 times something is 42. Okay, 3 times 14 is 42. Some people like to circle it or underline, whatever you want to do. The point is it's there. Again, equivalent fractions. This has to be the exact same number all the time. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top, and vice versa. So if 3 times 14 is 42, 1 times 14 is 14, and that means there are 14 novels. So far there's 24 picture books in this particular collection, 14 novels, and we're going to come back. The rest are comic books. How many comic books are there? Okay, so I had 24 picture books, labels, 14 novels. Let's add that together. I'm going to get squish. 4 plus 4 is 8, and then 2 and 1 is 3. Okay, so far there are 38 books accounted for, and you know in the collection there's 42. So let's do subtraction here. So again, labels, this is how much is in the collection. 38 is so far, and of course 42 minus 38 is 4. So I'm going to go back and read the question just to make sure. How many comic books are there? So for my nice math sentence at the end, there are, now watch what I'm going to do here. There are 4 out of 42 comic books in the collection. Now, some teachers might be very picky about this. Some teachers might mark this wrong. Why, you ask? Because the question is, how many comic books are there? Not what is the fraction represented by the comic books. I know. That's why you always have to go back and read the question to make sure. So if that was the case, if it said how many, I wouldn't even bother putting this. I wouldn't. It's just 4. That's the answer. There are 4 comic books in the collection, period. That's it. If it said, what is the fraction represented by the comic books? Then you say the fraction represented by the comic books are 4 out of 42. So just be careful with the wording of the question to help you out. There's a quick little word problem dealing with equivalent fractions. And there's other ways to do this, of course, but that is as basic as it comes. I hope that helps. Thanks so much.